It really wasn't too long ago DICE and EA were scrambling like a couple of TIE fighters, doing whatever they could to salvage Star Wars Battlefront 2 2017 after a disastrous launch that saw gamers rally against predatory loot boxes and aggressive microtransactions. For long-time Star Wars gamers, the most frustrating thing about the whole situation was we know it shouldn't be this difficult to make a decent Star Wars shooter. After all, LucasArts already cracked the code almost 20 years ago with a little ditty named Star Wars Battlefront 2. How satisfying then should it be in an age of live service catastrophes to get back to basics with Aspyr Media's Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection, a shiny new re-release of the original beloved Star Wars Battlefront games. Well, at least in theory. For full disclosure, we were sent a copy of Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection to try for ourselves, and I was really looking forward to getting on my high horse about the state of modern multiplayer games and crowing about how things used to be back in the good old days. Unfortunately, Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection has launched in a very messy state, which has completely derailed that train of thought. The classic games you hold dear are still here, and while it's great being able to load them on a modern console like my PS5, for the most part the trip down nostalgia lane is marred by an unwanted layer of scruff in the form of bugs, crashes, and a completely broken online mode. Aspyr has released an all too familiar statement acknowledging some of the issues plaguing players and promising they are working on it. Way back in the day, Star Wars Battlefront 2 was a completely offline experience for me. Online gaming was still in its infancy and I had no interest in the hassles and headaches it took to get a PS2 online. So you can trust me when I say this collection has an absolutely banging single player experience. The campaign of the first game is a collection of iconic Star Wars battles for you to fight through, but it's Star Wars Battlefront 2 that steals the show with a more focused narrative that sees you play as the 501st Legion as they go from being the defenders of the Republic to the galaxy's oppressors as Darth Vader's personal unit. Experiencing this transition from the clone's perspective gives what is essentially a collection of AI bot battles some surprising depth, exploring themes like their betrayal of the Jedi and the phasing out of the clones in the Imperial Army. It doesn't entirely mesh perfectly with the new Clone Wars canon, but don't let that get in the way of enjoying a good story. What does get in the way is the fact that one of the more major bugs in the Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection is that it's missing half the cutscenes, namely the ones that play at the end of missions. I was lucky enough I didn't experience any other major bugs through the rest of the campaign apart from some sound issues. I can almost forgive the game launching with the multiplayer having unexpected issues, but the story campaign also being affected feels sloppy. On a brighter note, the campaign still works fine in 2-player split screen, and getting to go through it with my wife Sam and share some childhood memories was the most fun I had with the collection, and hopefully should be a reminder to any publishers watching, we really miss split screen. Come on guys, let's make split screen cool again. Also available in either split screen or by yourself in single player is Instant Action, which lets you jump straight into a bot-filled battle, or if you're looking for something with a bit more substance, there is the legendary Galactic Conquest mode. This was always a personal favourite of mine. You choose a faction and get stuck into a galaxy-spanning war in what is essentially a mini strategy game. As you overtake planets, you'll earn credits which you can then use to expand your fleet, hire new infantry units, and purchase special bonuses like extra reserve forces, or having a hero character enter the field. Playing as hero characters is incredibly fun, and for the longest time these games reigned supreme in living the power fantasy of having a lightsaber and cutting down all around you like a force of spinning death. Speaking of spinning death, let's talk about the broken multiplayer mode. When I first tried the game on Thursday, I found myself getting hit with constant network issue error messages, games were ending incredibly quickly, and unless laggy teleportation is a new force power I don't know about, Aspyr clearly has its work cut out. The whole thing seemed like a chaotic mess, and again, not having played the originals online, I'm not really to know if this thing is broken beyond belief or just how the game was 20 years ago. Either way, it doesn't leave the best first impression. I've noticed things have improved over the weekend. I'm getting fewer error messages, there are more servers to choose from, which makes getting into games faster, and the kill count limit has been increased, meaning games are now lasting a decent length. Despite all that, that feeling of chaotic mess persists, and I'm sad to say I'm not really enjoying it. I can't help but wonder if it has something to do with aim assist being turned off on the official servers. Aim assist is on by default on all single player modes and helps smooth out the game's dated aiming controls. Online, when you combine the character movement speed and the loose aiming, I just couldn't find a decent rhythm. It's possible the reported lag and hit detection issues is making this feel worse than it is, but as it stands currently, I can't see myself putting much more time into the multiplayer. But I would be keen to see how it feels once Aspyr has sorted out all the issues. In terms of new additions, Aspyr has chosen to release the game as it was for the most part. This would be forgivable, maybe even welcomed, if everything was working properly. A part of me feels an extra flourish or two might have brought Aspyr some much needed goodwill from fans. A modern party system to easily join up with friends would have been a welcome addition, as would crossplay between PC and console players like in the recent Helldivers 2. You'll be glad to know all the bonus maps and characters previously spread across various versions are all included here, and there are some improvements to textures and frame rate, but this definitely still looks and feels like a game from 20 years ago. And don't get me wrong, I love that. I'm a huge champion of older games being preserved as they were and making their way to newer systems, but it needs to be done right. It's disappointing to see classic games like this dragged down by modern problems. Post-release patches to smooth out issues are just part and parcel of the industry these days, but it's not unreasonable to expect a higher base level of quality than Aspyr has delivered here. I wish them all the best in getting the collection fully realised in a speedy manner. There are some truly fantastic games hidden somewhere under all the launch issues. Aspyr just needs to spend a little more time digging them out. Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection is available now on PS4, PS5, Nintendo Switch, Xbox Series S and X, and PC. Let us know if you got the game day one, if you're waiting for updates, or if the messy launch has put you off altogether. Give us a shout in the comments below, and why not give this video a like while you're down there. For more top video game discussion, remember to subscribe to Ugly Sofa Gaming.